Well, good morning. My name is Jonathan Charles. I would like to make another video for the amateur radio community here. It's the weekend of the Pennsylvania QSO party. And so something I never did before. It's like a mini field day. I think the car's all packed. We've got my sleeping bag, a little food, a radio, and an antenna. So we're going to head out and operate portable from Juniata County today. So looking forward to it. It just couldn't have been a more beautiful day to drive up to the state game lands here in Juniata County. This road is usually closed most of the year, but it opens up in the fall. And I came to this open area where the mountaintop was just covered with wood chips with a few standing trees, just perfect to string up a 132-foot doublet. The wind was pretty strong, but if I shot with the wind on my back, I could get a straight shot over these trees. And using that little stand, I could get the rope over the tree with no problem. It just took about 20 pounds of pressure to put a rope, a fishing line over these trees, as they were not that tall, but they were up about 40, 50 feet, something like that. I really like these simple stands that we use for field day, just put together with 2x4s. Gives us about a 6-8 foot structure to raise a mast to support the dipole. We use dowels, 2-inch dowels, to slip inside the fiberglass mast, and that just pulls the fiberglass mast up so easily. It works very, very well. I'm using a spider beam, 40 foot. They're called the 12-meter heavy-duty fiberglass pole that Spider Beam makes, sold by Viberplex here in U.S. Most of the smaller masts are good to support a vertical wire, but they're just much too flimsy to support a dipole. So this is the first time that I've used this mast to support a 132-foot doublet. I wanted to try 3 different antennas on this little trip to see how this mast would do. The first antenna is this tuned doublet. It's a wire of just 20 gauge speaker wire using a small section of PVC pipe for the center insulator, fed with 92 feet of lightweight 300 ohm twin lead. I thought I could not get lighter than that, and it worked fine in its installation. The twin lead is then connected to the Ballum Designs 1171 ATU Ballum, which transitions to a coax feed to the radio. I really wanted to be impressed with this antenna because there's something awfully attractive with the idea of one antenna for all the bands. You can see here that wire runs from one tree to the other. So we are off and running, and it's sounding good, but the problem is I'm no longer on the doublet. Sadly, when I checked the reverse beacon network, I just was not so strong with that doublet. I don't know the reason why, really. So I switched out for the vertical with raised radials, which worked great. I was really impressed with this mast because I could take a wire off the top for an L on 80 meters, and I got 5.9 reports in Nebraska and 5.5 reports in Washington, which made me really happy. So the vertical worked as a resident antenna, worked so much better without a tuner.
Contest, Pennsylvania QSO party, November Bravo 3.
Another first for me in this contest was using this micro keyer as a voice keyer. I never was able to use the function keys on N1MM software to activate a voice keyer, so that was fun.
Juliet, United November.
QSL, thank you, November 3, Italy, 149, Allegheny, 149, Allegheny.
Thank you, good luck, November Bravo 3, Italy.
Sunday afternoon, I set up close to my home here in Lancaster for my second location as a rover. This time I wanted to try a resident linked dipole where I could add and subtract lengths for the different bands fed with coax. This was an additional test for this mast because RG8X is considerably heavier than the twin lead, but the mast did perform well, and I was pleased. Much better than the lightweight mast that I had used before. Since this linked dipole has been my field day go-to antenna for a long time, I was not surprised that it performed very well also.
Well, now that I'm home, what did I learn? Well, first of all, I really was impressed with that vertical antenna. I had never taken a wire off the top of that antenna to extend it for 80 meters, and it worked out really, really well. So I was happy with the vertical antenna. The dipole, the linked dipole worked as normal, as expected. But I was really disappointed in the tuned doublet. I was working stations. It tuned on 20, not so well on 40 or 80. I was making contacts, but I just wasn't strong. And using the reverse beacon network, I could tell that I wasn't strong. So the theory is good. It's what you have is a 132, 133 foot dipole that's resident at 3.5, and the second harmonic should be resident at 7.2, and the third harmonic at 14.3. And since your impedance with twin lead returns to its 50 ohms at every eighth wavelength, I understand, the twin lead was 3/8 of a wavelength long at 93 feet. I should have had a 50 ohm load at the end of that twin lead, which makes a very tunable antenna. But it didn't work for whatever reason. Was it the fact that, did I have a bad coax? I don't think so. I didn't have a ground, which maybe that when you use a tuner, you really should have a more effective ground, I believe. Why didn't it work? I don't know. It's just disappointing that I spent so much time on that. I only ended up operating about 6.5 hours, which is, and made about a bit over 300 contacts, which is nothing to write home about, but, but it was a learning experience, and I enjoyed doing a solo field day just for the fun of it. So I have some more work to do, which is always the case. So with that, I'll say 73s and wish you well in your own antenna projects, your own experiments. And I'll see you in the next Pennsylvania QSO party. Thank you.